What's up, guys? Tech Weekly, episode 47. It's May the 7th, 2011.
Yeah, we have so much Apple news. It's bleeding through my ears.
And almost enough to make you want to hit your mic.
Just kidding, I don't know. We've got one of these stories. It's one of those rumors. We've got Apple could be adopting ARM for their laptops. We're going to talk about what that means. Maybe they're going to all mobile. Maybe they just want to be like all, I don't know, developing everything. Because, you know, the iPad and also both iPads run an ARM chip. And I think the iPhone does too as well. We're also going to talk about bandwidth caps. There's a stat that we just got. 56% of Americans actually have a bandwidth cap and don't know about it. And then finally, we're going to talk about a brand new application for Android that allows you to view any document from the cloud using Google Docs. All this week and more
On Tech Weekly.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah, Carlo's here.
Yeah, we always forget that.
Carlo, yay!
Brown joins us from twitter.com/Carlo
Brown. So, yeah,
Hiding in the shadows.
let's do this thing. Hey, guys, how's it going?
It's going. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
It's Saturday and everybody feels lazy.
I'm very lazy because I don't have any energy drink in me whatsoever.
I think you're getting addicted to those things.
You know what?
I'm just lazy.
I might be. Carlo's just being lazy. Lazy Laserson over there. With
And the
his
awesome thing is, it's only like midday here in Colorado. What is it like?
midnight,
5 o'clock-ish.
Yeah, 5. So it's almost
5 o'clock.
It's getting towards the end of the day. Well, if it was a work day, it would be towards the end of the day. Jet, my dad went out today for his. Wait, I counted this up. We got Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, 16th straight day of work today.
Nice.
Yeah, that's cool. He was really excited about that. And tomorrow he's going to complete his 17th straight day of work. And then he'll have
The
a
day
whole
after
other week.
that, the day after it would be the 18th.
Yeah, but then, and he doesn't have a Friday off either in between those. So he's going to work like 20-something straight days.
Nice.
Yeah. Because they have to get a substation done in 2 weeks,
Exactly.
which is usually a 2-month project. All right.
And they're going to be like, at the end of it, they're going to be like, bus driver, move that bus.
Yeah. Now,
And
Jeff,
he'll drive away and be like, oh.
we got a story here, really cool story on Mashable, of how a bunch of storm victims are using Facebook to kind of account for their loved ones. So we're going to talk about that later. But our first story here is something that we alluded to in the intro, that Apple could adopt ARM for laptops. But why would they do that, Jacob? Why?
Because they want to make it theirs.
That is, yeah, that's...
And probably because it's cheaper to make a laptop that way.
So, Carlo, we've seen this. They run... What is it? Is it the... What is the processor that they run on the... is it-
On the Macs, it's all Intel, all of them.
Yeah, but is the iPad the A6 or the A...
Oh, the iPad, that's... the iPad 1 is A4, and the iPad
A4.
2 is A5.
Yeah, okay. And, you know, pretty good performance out of those devices. I like my iPad 1. I'm sure the iPad 2, they say it's faster. I'm sure it is faster.
I'd say with my iPhone 4 and my iPad 1, they're pretty decent.
Yeah. And so it came out when the iPad 1 first came out that we thought, Apple was in-house making these. Turns out they kind of like sort of in-house designed it, but like they shifted the... I don't know. Essentially, they designed it, but they don't manufacture it in their own manufacturing headquarters,
Maybe
whatever.
it's Samsung who makes
Yeah, I
them.
think it is
Just
Samsung.
like
That's what I was thinking. So Ars Technica made some, decent efforts to sort this out, and they said that there is one thing or a couple things that are wrong with the projection. That a processor using a 64-bit A15 ARM core runs at 2.5 gigahertz in 2013 is expected to have a performance on par with a 2 gigahertz Core 2 Duo, which is available today. Apple has already moved its MacBook Pro line to the Sandy Bridge chips and should be moving the Air to the Sandy Bridge chips later this summer. Those chips already outperform the Core 2 Duo chips by a quantum leap at similar clock speeds. So essentially, ARM chips are at one disadvantage right now, and that's they're extremely slow. ARM chips are awesome because they're really low power. a lot of times you can run them like an iPad without having to have any like fans or anything, which is cool. I like that. You can without the interference with fans or anything, you can make things much smaller, but they're slow. And the only thing right now you're going to see them in is an iPad, an iPhone, something like that, a mobile device that's fast for. But I mean, come on, Core 2 Duo. I heard a lot of people like Stephen the Tech Buzz uses a Core 2 Duo on his iMac, and he says that like broadcasting with Wirecast and everything, it just crawls because it's such an old technology now. Carlo, do you think that we would have enough development by the time that I think Apple would have to wait. They're going to wait until the performance is on par if they were to switch these. I mean, isn't that what you would say? I think that they would have to be getting the same exact performance from an Intel chip and an ARM chip to be able to switch, or something like that.
I don't see anything wrong with putting these in the MacBook Air when it gets to that point where it can actually produce those 2.0 Core 2 Duo speeds. But as it stands at the moment, I think it's a very bad idea to do that, because you basically, it would almost be crippling it in a way.
Oh, it will.
Well, I thought of most people like Steve, he uses Wirecast, and not everybody uses Wirecast. So just thinking about normal consumers here, the Core 2 Duo and MacBook Air at the moment, is as good as. So I can see them putting ARM in there if it can sort of match what they've got in there at the moment, but putting them in, like say, the 15-inch MacBook Pro, bad idea right now. And I certainly wouldn't be happy with it.
I tend to agree with you. Like, I've looked at the MacBook Airs because they're just ridiculously thin and they're awesome, and they're 11 and 13 inches, which if I got one, I'd get an 11.6. But I think you're right. That would be suitable for an 11-inch or 12-inch, whatever, MacBook Air. Wouldn't you say, Jeff? Because, I mean, right now you're getting is it, Colin, am I right? Is it somewhere around a 2.0, is it 2.1 clock speed on the...
On the Air, it's 1.4 for
really?
the 11 and 1.6 for the 13, I think.
So I think in time you could replicate that on an ARM chip, don't you, Jeff?
Yeah. Because
right now they're almost 2 chipsets behind. Because the laptops are on Sandy Bridge, and then you've got the first i7s, i3, i5, and i7s that came out, and then you have the Core 2 Duos. And they're still running on a Core 2 Duo that's like much less than the last ones that came out, because they're using what Intel calls their ULV processors, the ultra low voltage chips. So that's
you're basically just getting into big it's like tablets with keyboards, kind of net tops with keyboards, kind of deal. But
I mean, that's what I've always said, which I know a lot of people don't say this, but I mean, essentially, a MacBook Air is what Apple would call their netbook. I mean, it's the lowest end version of their laptops. It's the lowest clock speed. I mean, it's right around the clock speed of what you're going to get with an Atom. Now, granted, I think the Core 2 Duo still outperform an Atom.
It pretty much is Apple's netbook. It's just got just a bit faster, and it's got a better graphics card in it, but it's thin, portable, supposed to be able to take it everywhere. So yeah, basically, it's Apple's netbook.
Yeah. I mean, I know a lot of people don't like to say that because, it's still $1,000 and it's made out of...
It's the most expensive netbook you'll ever get.
Yeah, essentially. I mean, it does have its perks, but I think that is an interesting story, and, maybe we will see that. Yeah, this kind of surprised me. 56% of Americans have an internet data cap, and most of them don't know about it.
Mm-hmm.
And the FCC has been asked to investigate. Honestly, I don't know if they're going to do that or not. I have it in the show notes that we need to talk about Charter. We've talked about it a little bit, but your Comcast high-speed internet service has a monthly data cap usage allowance of 250 gigabytes. If you're wondering whether you're at risk of exceeding the 250 gigabyte threshold, you should know that around 99% of Comcast customers use significantly less than 250 gigabytes per month.
Yeah, but that 1% is probably me.
Well, I'm sure it was probably you. It's probably me as well. So there's a little thing that
most people won't even notice if they've got a cap on there of 250.
Yeah. See, that's why
some
they do
people
that.
aren't downloading massive files and doing all that junk every day. So
that's why they do that, is because they know that 99% of everyone won't even care. They're like 250 gigabytes. I never could use that much. I mean,
I certainly could, though.
Well, I know the three of us right now could use that much, and probably everybody in the chat room could as well. But I can see that. I mean, this kind of I don't know. So Carlo lives in the UK, for everybody that doesn't know. And
he's in the UK. Oh,
the UK.
Kidding, just
do you have on your DSL right now? Do you have a cap?
Well, supposedly I don't. But as far as I know, it's something like 100 or 150 before they start throttling you down or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to be on it much longer. I'm going to be on unlimited cable, so just 2 days to go.
So you said that when you switch to cable, you're going to have to pay a premium. Is that how I got? Am I like messing this up?
With the cable company I'm paying a premium not to have a phone line.
Oh, okay.
But I believe that I do actually have like actual unlimited on it. But we'll see how that goes.
So I think I'm understanding this, that it is pretty rare that people in the UK have an uncapped data connection like from directly into their home. And I think it's pretty rare to even have the ability to get cable. That's what...
around here, only certain places have cable, certain places don't, and the government is working on rolling out cable to everybody. But pretty much every ISP has some cap or another, or some kind of policy of if you... basically, if I start downloading tons of stuff, like loads of Linux distros in a day, they're going to start having a go at me and saying, hang on a minute, you are downloading quite a lot of stuff, so we're going to slow you down to try and discourage you from doing that.
So the problem about this is there's always, for the last, I think it was about 3 or 4 years ago, that Canadian ISPs actually said, hey, you've got a 250 gigabyte cap, and we're just going to cut you off at 250 gigabytes. You can't have internet unless you pay another certain fee, which is kind of like what they would do with mobile phone data. So right now I only have a 2 gig plan on AT&T because they only have 2 gig and 4 gig now. There's no unlimited.
What?
There's no unlimited. You can't.
I have unlimited on Sprint, and I don't even pay for it.
1 gig for me. I have 1 gig on my iPhone plan.
Yeah. So if I go over, this is completely different because it's mobile mobile providers. If I go over 2 gigabytes, I have to pay $10 for another 2 gigabytes. That's how that works. Which that doesn't really bother me because they could level you with like $1,000 bill. I've seen that happen to people. They just don't say anything, and they start charging you whatever the going
10
rate.
10 cents a kilobyte.
Yeah, which you're gonna rack up a huge bill with that. My issue, actually, I don't think there should be bandwidth caps. We can't stop it from happening. But Jeff, don't you think that since 99.9% of everyone doesn't use 250 gigs, that it really doesn't... it's not really going to help, because I think you're still going to use more than 250 gigs, more than likely, or come close to it every month.
I don't think they should just be capping anybody at all. Because if nobody uses it, then what's the point of capping?
Out, so they don't have to cap people.
Well, if 99% of the people don't use over 250 gigs, then why cap it? If only 1% of those people are going over 250 gigs, then what's the point of capping that? That's not going to hinder anything on the main scheme of things. I'm thinking that it's just their way of keeping it all locked down by saying that it's not.
So one of our viewers in the chat room is saying that providers should whack the abusers and be done with it. Well, that's essentially what a cap is.
Mm-hmm.
Because Jacob's going to get whacked every month. I'm going to get whacked every month. Carlo would probably get whacked every month.
I'd get whacked every month, definitely.
But that's the issue. He's also saying many companies have unlimited and fair use policies. But please don't call it unlimited. I don't care if it says in the EULA.
Unlimited means no limit.
Yeah, and we've seen that change with mobile providers and now ISPs. Unlimited is not unlimited. Don't tell me it's unlimited if I can't sit there and use a terabyte of data. If I can't use a terabyte of data or whatever, if there's a cap, it's not unlimited. I don't care if it's as high as it could possibly go.
You just call it what it is. If it's a 500 gigabyte cap, say 500 gigabyte internet, or whatever. Don't call it unlimited,
because I feel like I'm getting ripped off saying that I'm paying for unlimited, but I only get 250 gigs. That's, you know, and I understand to anyone else, they probably won't even come close to reaching this. They may only use 10 gigabytes worth of data, but Jacob could probably go through 10 gigabytes worth of data in a night or something.
But it still doesn't make any sense why they would have a cap in there in the first place if you never reach it. So,
I think I've reached on my DSL. I think I've reached about once or twice. I've used about 100 in a month, and I think they must have start having to go at 150.
Yeah, and they're going to have to increase the caps as internet speed increases because you're going to be able to download, you know, more bigger files.
Yeah.
Plus, quality of video is going to get higher. You know, YouTube, you're going to be like watching pure HD video that's like, you know, who knows? In 5 years, it could be fully uncompressed video that you're watching over the internet streaming. I mean, there's going to be a lot of changes. I have a feeling that in the near future, we're going to get away from codecs. We're going to get away from compression. It's going to be raw data on the internet because the internet's going to be so fast that you can utilize that. Our hard drives are going to be so big that it won't matter that, you know, I think 1080 is going to be the new low res. You know, we're going to have resolutions that we just can't fathom right now. So.
We're already seeing that with 4K, but, you know, 4K is still, what, twice HD? Or four times? Four times. Yeah, true.
But, yeah, I mean, it's like, I don't know. It's all relative, really, when you look at it. It's just right now, they're like, 250 gigs. Well, I think mine's like 500 gigs on Charter that they don't tell you about at all.
Yeah. Like,
you cannot find it. You can read their whole EULA from top to bottom, and it does not say anything about a cap of 500 gigabytes. But I used it one month, and my internet speed dropped drastically. And they don't cut you off completely, but they make it to where you wish you didn't have the internet connection.
So
they basically let you know.
Oh yeah.
I think it is a huge part incrementalism, like he said in the chat room. But you know, like you said, we're gonna have pretty soon. We're probably gonna have larger codecs, if no codecs, and we're gonna have faster internet. Hopefully, fiber in much of the U.S. Probably not,
or compression that's able to make a lossless compression, or the technology is going to increase.
Now, let me ask you this question: since Charter and if you're using cable internet, they also have a cable plan. I mean, that's what they want you to buy. They don't.
Yeah.
They're not.
Well,
they
got
make
everything.
Money.
They got phone.
Well,
they got
but
TV
phone is over the IP. You got to think.
Well,
about
it's all
that.
the same thing. Phone takes bandwidth just as much as your internet browser or TV would.
Well, wait a minute. Your TV counts on your internet, really?
Your TV, it's the way that they bundle all that stuff together now. It's like the Uverse.
It's just one line.
It's one line. It is everything.
So, do you think this is a backlash by Comcast, Charter, all the cable companies saying, "Hey, you're watching Hulu way too much. Subscribe to our TV."
Yeah,
service.
it's gonna start happening like that. I mean, that's the net neutrality thing that they're trying to not, the net neutrality where everybody gets treated the same on the internet.
Yeah,
that's what they're trying to keep, and not get it to where it's, big corporations hog all the internet and we get their scraps.
Or they could even level you. Say, well, PBcast TV Studio looks like they're using a lot of upload bandwidth.
We're going to throttle them down because every
And
Saturday at whatever, everybody else's upload goes down a little in that neighborhood because they're always uploading. So we're going to throttle them back so that they can't upload as fast.
Yeah. It's an interesting discussion, and I hope the FCC gets involved. We haven't seen that much issue with net neutrality. I mean, it's been talked about, but we haven't gotten to the point, and this is going to bring us much closer than we want to be to the point. And I hope that, it's optimal for anyone who frequents the internet to keep net neutrality in a way that there's no differentiation between who you are, what you're looking at, whatever. You should have the same speed, the same data cap, or no data cap, whatever. Don't you think?
Yeah. Well, and once we get into the gigabit speeds, that's when it's really gonna.
Yeah.
And I think that's really going to be when I think initially you'll be like, oh, dude, this is so fast. and you'll be like, "This is amazing! I can download stuff so fast now." But I think in time, just like it always has happened, the files are going to get bigger. The data is going to get bigger, and it'll just pretty much stay the same.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's
we'll get to a point where we'll just be like, that initial introduction of that internet speed will be like, "Oh, dude, oh my gosh, I downloaded this thing so fast."
Yeah.
But then you're going to be like, "Oh man, this is taking forever.
This
50 gigabyte file is taking so long to download." Oh.
It's probably going to be the same way. Like, you're still going to spend 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever downloading a Linux distro, even though it may be 10 gigs instead of 1 gig or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
So,
or video or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. That was just a thing. So, Jep, we've used Discuss. I think that's how you say it. It's DISQUS. That's one of those awesome startup names. But Discuss is a WordPress plugin. You can also use it for. You can also use it for What is it? Joomla? Is that it? And then
Joomla?
Something like that.
Jamboree?
Something, I don't know. You can also use it for a couple other web standards. I think you can use it in Drupal. They're really big into commenting, and what it does, it replaces the standard WordPress commenting, which we're still using. We used Discuss for a while, but then we changed over to the WordPress because the theme builder has to specifically say, like on our post it says there's only 1 comment or 5 comments or whatever on this post. Well, Discuss, if it doesn't have the API capabilities, it'll just mess all that up. So it'll be looking for that count inside of WordPress, but it can't find it. And since Discuss took it over, it like messes with our theme or something. So we can't use that. But the cool thing is it keeps down on spam. So right now, if you have a name, all you have to do on our website is go put in a name and you just do whatever you want. You can go to town. We could probably change it where you had to put in an email address or, become a member of our site, whatever, but I don't because that's just another step that you have to get. And by the time people have to register, they're probably not even going to want to comment anymore. The cool thing about Discuss is you can log in through Facebook, Twitter, even your Discuss account. They have Discuss accounts, but it's really easy and really simple to do. But the thing about on WordPress is it cuts down on spam dramatically because bots don't know that they have to sign in with this username.
What am I supposed to do?
Yeah. But the cool thing is they introduced at mentions or at replies in comment threads. So now, YouTube does this. Like if I see Jacob is commenting on somebody's video and I wanted to say, "Wow, Jacob, what a great comment," I'd say, "At freaking huge, what a great comment," and then it shows up in his inbox so he can know that we're talking about him. So Discuss brought that to the table, and I just wanted to say, Discuss is really cool. There's a lot of different, there's other options. There's Live Fire, and I use on my blog. It's really simple. It's made by Joey Primari. I think that's how you say his name. He wrote Cortex for Chrome, a couple other things, but it's a plugin for WordPress once again, and you just sign in with your Twitter name. Now, of course, that takes away from anyone using my site that doesn't have a Twitter account, but whatever. I just thought it was cool.
Throw in a little CAPTCHA there, and you're good to go.
Yeah. But the cool thing is, it now has total Twitter sync, so it brings in all your account. So if I clicked on your account, it would bring up oh, that's Jacob Roberts. He likes 3, whatever you have on your Twitter page, which is cool. I don't know. But they just came out with their new version, and it includes at mentions and stuff like that. And, it keeps the conversation filed down to whatever. That way you can keep it organized, and you're not having different threads and stuff. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I just wanted to mention it because if you're using a WordPress site, I know a lot of people are trying to get into broadcasting or podcasting or whatever, definitely recommend Discuss for the commenting system. Kind of a bookmark, but whatever. It's awesome. All right. So, a couple, I guess it was months ago now that we saw Google introduce their instant search. Well, now we have a new search redesign that has showed up. They've been testing it. The people over at Mashable.com, they got some screenshots, and Google has been testing the search redesign. in the results page, it spots a new color. It has a new color theme and also a lot more white space. So they're kind of wasting more space now, which is sort of weird. So let's look at the screenshot here. So right there, if you search, they search for Twitter, and it brought up you can actually search through Twitter. That's always been there, but it's got a new icon. You know, like if I search Wikipedia on Google, it'll actually present me with a Wikipedia search right in the Google search. It's kind of weird, but look at all this wasted space. That's something that we haven't seen on Google in like a long time. I don't know. What do you think about that?
I don't know. Maybe they just had their font set small or something.
Yeah, I mean, it looks cleaner, definitely. Carlo, you like the new search thing that they're testing? I mean, it's not that much different, but...
I'm not sure, really. I don't really care what it really looks like, as long as I can find what I want to find.
Yeah, that is true. I mean,
it does look a bit odd.
It does kind of look weird.
See, I mean, I'm still seeing the same. I think they might have just had something weird going on.
Well, I mean, I think they don't just... Yeah, I don't know. Let's see what they're saying here, but... A Google representative confirmed to us that the company was conducting user tests on some users. As you can see from the screenshot below, the redesign result page incorporates tweaked color scheme. Do I?
No, maybe not. Just kidding.
It has a tweaked color scheme, and they're trying to get away from the like green, purple, blues.
But didn't they always have that little pop-up thing?
What pop-up thing?
This right here that I'm showing.
Yeah, that's been there. That's not what they're talking about.
Oh,
though.
I thought that's what you were talking about.
No, it's a complete like UI redesign. Like it looks nothing like they've ditched the if you look at this, they've ditched like search for Twitter right now on Google. So see, they've ditched like the below thing that says what the website is. I mean, what it's doing is it's bringing more information in from Twitter. So it says you can search Twitter, you can look at the Twitter blog, you can see these people on Twitter. I mean, it's bringing in different aspects depending on what you're searching for.
Yeah, isn't that?
But it's different. I mean, it's not the same UI.
Okay.
I mean, you can look at that and tell it's not the same UI. It's just a new UI, so don't worry about it. But it actually has the same news story. That's kind of weird. Anyway, I thought that was interesting, and yeah, anytime Google does something, we might need to cover. So Jeff, this one hits close to home, and I like to hear your comment on this because I think it's pretty cool. So storm victims are using a YouTube video combined with a Facebook page to find and confirm if someone is alive or if they've been found or whatever. So that's a cool way for people. Let's just say that I had relatives in Pleasant Grove, which was a place that was hit very hard by the tornado in Alabama. And this is, from our state, so that's one of the reasons that I decided to put it in here. But I thought it was pretty cool. So the way that it does it is, you can go in there, confirm, hey, Mom, if you couldn't get in touch with me, I'm here, or everyone else, or your cousin is fine or something. So that's pretty cool, and I want to show a little bit off of this video. It was made by an organization that started the page on Facebook, and yeah. So I don't think it has any sound.
Yeah, because you don't have... Is it?
Yeah, it's up.
On April 27, 2011, storms ripped through the South.
South.
Our state was hit very hard, the state of Alabama. There was over 200 tornadoes in a 24-hour span, and it spared my family, it spared my house, my belongings, but my neighbors just to the south were not so lucky. It was raining pictures, raining pieces of books, and big pieces of metal fell from the sky. I found mail in our yard from Smithville, Mississippi. We are in Lester, Alabama, and that is between 150 and 200 miles away. There was a piece of white paper laying on the side of the road out here. I went and picked it up, and it was an ultrasound picture, and it just broke my heart. And I can show you the picture. I was just sitting there thinking, this mother doesn't have this. And I know it's really messed up, but if that's all they had left, I'm sure that they would want this back.
So it's an interesting story, and we've seen a lot of different things like this. I mean, so many people were reporting that they found blank and blank in their...
The blankety blank and
yeah,
the blank.
whatever. I mean, insert...
I'm in your
anything.
blank
Yeah,
in your blank.
Blank, yeah. Let's just say, oh, we found Jacob's remote control from his
What?
camera.
How'd you get that?
In Hackleburg or somewhere.
Did you found that in the storm?
Yeah, I did. It's an interesting way. I think it's pretty cool because Facebook is being embraced by so many different people. Everybody and their mother, like I put in the show notes, is on Facebook.
Everybody and their mother.
Well, I mean, that is true. I mean, your mom's on Facebook, right?
I'm not anymore.
Well,
I keep saying that. It's funny.
I put that in the show notes, didn't I, or not?
Didn't you?
I
Jacob's not on Facebook. Don't mention that to him.
I
I'm
put
just kidding.
everybody and their mother except for Jacob is on Facebook. I'm just kidding. I don't see the only reason that I even use Facebook anymore is to wish people happy birthday and
You can do that on Twitter now.
well, I know, honestly, but I mean, you know, there's still not everybody that I mean, if I have a friend, they're probably more than likely going to be on Facebook. If not, they're just stupid. But
I don't have any more friends. No, I'm just kidding.
I don't use Facebook that much.
I don't use Facebook either. I mean, honestly, it's just it's literally a messaging tool for some of my friends who haven't used their email, and I don't know. I mean, it's not. It serves literally hardly no purpose in my life. Literally hardly blah blah blah. Anyway, I think it's cool that they've embraced a social media website to interact with people and bring in different things. And you know, I'd like to get my ultrasound picture or my not my whatever.
I was like,
inserting my name.
No. Nick here.
It would be cool if we could get stuff back that I lost in the storm.
Yeah.
So that's cool. So Jeff, the iPad 2 came out in China this week, and we saw this before. The iPhone 4, of course, was delayed in China.
Oh, how you doing?
And the Chinese Apple enthusiasts are like almost as hardcore as the people in are actually more hardcore, in my opinion, than the people in America.
Oh, I'd kill you for iPad.
Yeah. I mean, look at this line outside of an Apple store in Beijing. It's just crazy. I mean, and
that's ridiculous.
We've seen so many people lining up for this. I mean,
and it's not actually a line. That's just a big crowd of people. They're not
really,
even in any organized fashion whatsoever. As soon as they open those doors, 5 people will die. That's the way they do stuff over there.
Yeah. I'd rather just order online. There's no point of waiting outside just to like...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's like like over in what's like when they have like I remember seeing a documentary or something on it about like in South America and stuff like that, when they have like those like basically it would be the equivalent to open up like a CVS or like a Dollar Tree or something like that over here. When they have those over there, so many people are like piled up in front of the doors that like they're like pushing on them, where you see like the workers are like leaning up against the back of the door so they won't break in.
Kind of like Black Friday times 10, sort of.
Yeah, but it's like just for a regular store.
That's weird.
And then like they'll open it up, and no kidding, at least 5 people will die from being trampled over. I'm like, that's ridiculous to go get a big old jumbo roll of toilet paper. But yeah, this is a little different. I guess it's Apple. So.
Yeah, the iPad 2 went on sale on Friday in China, and it was also, you know, it's almost hit the rest of the world by now, but. The Beijing Apple Store sold out in just 4 hours.
Yeah. And 5 people. No, just kidding.
Apple Insider reports that the customer started arriving around 5 p.m. on Thursday, 24 hours before the event. Many chose to wait overnight. The staff at the Beijing Apple Store had launch day process down pat. Thanks no doubt to experience from previous launches like the iPhone 4 and also the white iPhone. Let's see. Several perks that Apple stores in the U.S. don't offer. Those who choose to wait overnight could stay in a special waiting room. That's pretty cool.
Oh, they're all about like little cubicles over there.
That's crazy.
You know
dude.
how they're like you go in there to the what's that little tiny hotel thing they had over there that's like it's like a tube in the wall that you like climb inside and shut the door behind you.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
I was like, what in the world?
I mean, Carla, that's pretty cool, right? I mean, I don't know how it is in the UK, but here in the US, if I wanted to go wait in line for an iPad tomorrow, if it was coming out, I would have to sit on the ground and like
Or
camp
pop
out.
up a tent or something.
Yeah, something.
I'm not
Yeah.
really sure what it's like here,
I
but
don't-
I just know personally I just order my stuff online and I'm not
Yeah.
going to be bothered waiting outside and freezing my balls
Exactly.
off for a piece of plastic.
Exactly.
I think it's more of the experience, but you know, whatever. If you're one of those people that wants to
You're
wait,
one of
in line-
those people that like to
Experience when
order
it's in your
stuff.
hands and it pops in your letterbox.
yeah, and plus you probably have to pay tax when if you ordered it from someplace online, you may not have to pay like sales tax.
Yeah, depending on what you order.
Oh, we pay the tax no matter whether you order online or get it in the shops.
Yeah.
Same thing, costs the same.
I think it's interesting to see, like, you know, people so excited about this, even though it's like, you know, 2 months or 3 months after the iPad 2 came out, but still pretty cool.
Sweet.
So, Carl, since you are our resident Apple personnel, whatever you want to call, here's a story that Ars Technica wrote up, which is a great tech news site, if you didn't know about it. Apple appears to be poised to improve their update process on iOS and Mac OS X. The company may debut direct over-the-air updates for iPhones, iPads, iPod Touches, beginning with iOS 5. Additionally, the Mac App Store could be the preferred platform for delivering updates for Mac OS X Lion. So, what do you think about this, Carl? I mean, I'm all for over-the-air updates because honestly, once I sync my iTunes account, I hardly ever sync until there's an update or something that I know there's an update coming. I rarely sync my iPad to my, especially my iPad to my computer because I feel like an iPad.
No, I don't sync often because
Yeah.
it's just.
It's a hassle
I
and it
find
takes
it a
forever.
bit, yeah, it's a hassle.
Yeah.
You know, as far as the over-the-air update for iOS is concerned, it's a cool thing. But with Lion, I'd rather have a DVD. It's an operating system. It's a different animal, really. So I'd rather have a DVD for that. But yeah, it's I'm all for it. Yeah.
So, what do you think about managing? I think this is how I would interpret it. That many of the they want all programs or applications to migrate on Lion to be updated through the Mac App Store. I mean, does that bother you, or is it really just having?
It doesn't really bother me that much. I prefer to have my operating system on DVD, and I wouldn't mind downloading software.
All right.
As long as once the operating system is on there and I've installed it via the DVD, then yeah, I'm getting my software online. It's pretty much how I do it anyway.
Yeah. I'm all for over-the-air updates for iOS, especially if I can sync over the air. That would be, even on the local
Well,
network.
that's what I was going to ask you. I was like, haven't they
No.
implemented that
No.
yet?
There's no over-the-air
Because
updates. You can't sync.
Zune had that. They could
You can
they
do
could
that if
sync
you
over
jailbreak.
Wi-Fi.
You can do the
Yeah.
over-the-air
only-
syncing for jailbreak, but normally no, it's not there on the iPhone.
I mean, that's-
Interesting.
Yeah.
I would thought they would have done that.
Nope.
They're all
So,
about that plug.
Essentially, my iPad, I like to think of it as a standalone device. I mean, I can see kind of iPod. Yeah, that's just an accessory for your computer. I mean, I don't want to be syncing my iPod every day, but I know people who do.
Let me sync it up. Well, some people do like podcasts too, don't they?
Yeah, but those come to your. If you have an iPod Touch or an iPad, they sync over there. They have a separate iTunes, not separate, but I would consider it a separate iTunes installation that you can never open your desktop, and it directly downloads to your iPod or your iPad, either through 3G.
Interesting.
Yeah. I'm all for the fact that I could sync my music, maybe get some updates over either the local network or even on 3G if you have that capability. I don't know, honestly, why they haven't implemented it, and I really don't want to wait until iOS 5, but if I have to, I'd rather it be in iOS 5 than never come, So that's my take on it. Android does over-the-air updates. You can get 2 point, anytime if you're running a stock mod or a stock ROM. Essentially, if AT&T, I heard that they're going to be rolling out Gingerbread in the next couple weeks to the Inspire 4G. If I was running the stock ROM, I would get that pushed over the air to me. But
it'll also help on the modded ROMs also, because then they'll be able to
directly have
more
make it more stable and
more stabilize and
yeah.
The only issue I'd have with over-the-air updates is it's a minor thing, but if the Wi-Fi would drop while you're updating,
you're pretty much
and
screwed.
then you'd be stuffed. Because
I wouldn't see upgrading your OS kind of like.
But I've had it happen on the iPhone. Like if I go from like where I am now, if I go into the kitchen, the Wi-Fi drops because it's just too far away from the router. And if I was doing an over-the-air update and I still took the phone into the kitchen, then I go and lose my Wi-Fi.
Well, most of the time, what they do is they'll download the actual update file. Like on my phone, if I get an over-the-air or whatever, they'll download the file, and then you install the file once it's completely downloaded.
But I have a feeling that Apple's not going to do that.
It depends how they go about it, yeah. But
Apple would probably, I can see them
trying to do it over the air completely.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah, I could see them doing that.
That'd be ridiculous.
They're expecting that you're going to have a connection. Yeah,
that'd be ridiculous. I'm just saying.
So Joe, I know you're not like a big huge music person. I'm not really either, but Spotify, which has been a pretty long time streaming service, they've partnered with Warner Brothers Media. They've partnered with a couple of different content providers, Sony. In the UK, and they've been streaming. You can pay like $10 a month or something like that, and they have a standalone application for many devices, including Mac and PC and Linux. And essentially, you stream music over the cloud, which is not a new thing. Pandora does that. Last.fm does that. There's a bunch of different. Groove Shark does that. But this being a standalone application, looking a whole lot like iTunes, and they now have iPod support, which means that as long as you pay the $10 a month, you can actually technically download some of the songs. I think that's how that works, and sync them to your iPod through the Spotify interface. And there are a couple different ways of doing that. I mean, Ubuntu has iPhone support where you can sync your music to it, which is kind of weird in and of itself. It kind of reminds me of when the Palm Pre used to be able to sync with iTunes. Like iTunes would release an update and then it would break it, and then Palm would release an update and it would work. It was really weird. But anyway, Jet, what do you think about streaming music? I mean, are you one of those people that you would rather have media?
I'm not really into the whole MP3 thing. Yeah. So if I want to hear a song, I just go on there and hear it.
That's kind of how I feel. But there are people who, I mean... I'm not into the music thing, really, in the sense of, I got to go get all these CDs, I got to go buy all this stuff on whatever, and go and... I don't know. I mean, Carlo, do you feel like you have to have an MP3 file, or do you think that you could suffice just paying $5 or $10 a month? Let's just say that that's the only option. You could either...
Well, see, right now you have all these free services, though.
Yeah, but essentially...
I don't really do either, to be honest. I've got CDs that I've burnt into iTunes and then copied some of that onto my phone, so I've got something there, but for the most part, I listen to internet radio. I don't bother with MP3s or paying for music services. I don't see why I would pay for a music service. It's just not into it that much.
Yeah. That's kind of how I feel. I mean, I use... a desktop application. I have a couple gigs of music, maybe 10 or something, but most of them are just like you said, burned CDs that I just have in a music collection. I mean, I think I like cloud music storage place, maybe not storage, but just streaming music solutions a whole lot better because it allows you, like Pandora. There's artists that I would never even know about, but just because it says that I like, the Avett Brothers or something, that it brings up somebody else, which allows me to,
Yeah, and I guess the way I look at it is sort of like, I mean, I work during the day, so it's kind of like my job's not the kind of job where I'm going to go put earbuds in or something and listen to music all day.
Right.
So really, the only time I listen to music would be on the radio in and out of work, and I got a radio station that I can listen to all the way up there and back that's got the music I like to listen to, and, you know.
Yes, Smooth's been saying he's been listening to internet radio lately, which has drastically decreased his MP3 downloads. Now, Carlo, what I want to talk about here is we've heard rumors of iTunes maybe having a streaming service, which of course would not be free, but if you're used to paying for Spotify, you would probably be used to, you'd end up paying for iTunes or something. I mean, do you think that services like this are going to push Apple in a way that they may be pressured to release a streaming service, I guess you could say?
Well, I see a lot of people jumping on it if they were to do that. Me personally, I wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
But I definitely see a lot of people. A lot of people have been asking about it or wanting it for a long time. So I definitely see that a lot of people would do it if they did it. And I'm pretty sure it will happen soon. Once they got the server power or whatever, this supposed secret server they're building in the Antarctic somewhere.
Yeah. I since I don't use a Mac, I don't use iTunes that much because Windows on iTunes. I mean, iTunes on Windows. Sorry, you might as well give up. I do use a lot of streaming radio stations through the web browser. Through Banshee has support on Linux for essentially any stream. As long as it's formatted for the right. I mean, it can stream like Windows Media, a ton of different streaming codecs and things. I use that, and essentially I would consider that being kind of like iTunes Radio. And yeah, I do like that because I have one central little dash or whatever that manages all that stuff, and it's easy to go to. And
I have the on the iPhone and iPad. I got this app called TuneIn Radio that has lots of. I'd pretty much say, unless you have it over there too, it's our version of Pandora. It's just got a ton of radio stations with a ton of genres in it, and I usually use that for music satisfaction, so to speak. I don't listen to a lot of it nowadays. I used to be quite a lot into it when I was younger, but now I don't listen to music that much anymore.
Yeah, that's
but a lot of people do. So.
Really, the only time I'm listening to music, I mean, I usually keep on, like, if I'm just sitting here by myself, like, doing work or something, there's always a music radio station going. I'm not, like, passionate about music and the fact that, when the new, I don't know, CD or album comes out, I'm going to instantly go on iTunes and buy it. I'm probably just going to listen, whatever. But I do like...
I used to be like that, but I don't do that anymore.
So, yeah. We got 2 more news stories. And Carl, we were talking a little bit about this before the show, that Apple released some new iMacs this week. They have a removable, I can't talk, removable GPU and an ambient light sensor. That was from the breakdown from a couple different websites. This is on Ars Technica as well. They came out, they have a 21.5 inch and then a 27 inch. Now, Carlo, does the 21.5 inch only have one Thunderbolt port? Is that how I understand that?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
One Thunderbolt for the 21.5 and 2 Thunderbolts for the 27.
And one of the first things that we saw, I mean, this is the first time that we've seen Thunderbolt on an iMac. We saw it on the new laptops a couple months ago.
Which Thunderbolt's just like a external PCI Express, isn't it? Something
Well,
like
kind of. Not really. I mean, it's not like an eSATA. It's not
It's
No, I'm saying
Apple's
PCI
version of
Express, not
USB 3.
It's a bus, an external bus port.
Right, Carlo described it as essentially the same speeds as USB 3.
Yeah, but
It's supposed to be faster, but it's pretty much along those lines.
From the way I understand it, I think it's just it's basically the same port, the same pins or whatever that you plug
it's just
the little capture card into. It's just externally in a different form factor.
Yeah,
It goes directly to a bus. It's not having to go through any kind of front end kind of deal.
And with the 2 Thunderbolt ports, you can now use that to be able to have 3 displays on an iMac 27 inch. Since you have to have 2 Thunderbolt ports, you can also use any Thunderbolt-enabled devices. We've seen a couple NASs come out, also a couple hard drive manufacturers jumping on the Thunderbolt thing. But
Which
Did
you
they-
know,
I've heard you can daisy chain devices as well with these Thunderbolt ports.
that would make sense since you're just going straight to a bus.
I mean,
you know?
I like the fact that they're doing this like super fast port, but it's only for Macs, right?
yeah.
So that kind of sucks because now you're gonna have all this hardware that's being developed that only can be used on a Mac.
It's feeling a little bit like FireWire in a way because even though technically
Well, I mean,
you could use,
you could use FireWire on, but you're not gonna have a Thunderbolt port for a PC.
Well, it will happen soon, but
I mean,
it's just
you
that
might
the
have a
Macs will
card
get them
sooner or later,
first.
but
honestly, I don't think that it's directly a Mac thing. I think it's something that Intel has developed. Honestly,
it's not
But
Apple
PCs
developed.
will have them in about maybe 1-2 years from now after all this stuff comes out.
I don't think it's just Apple Thunderbolt. I think it's
'Cause it's Intel who's
Intel
in
developed
charge of it.
Oh, okay, I was just thinking it was like
No, it's not just
Steve Jobs like mine.
And they just did the special deal so they could get it first.
Yeah. But I can
Gotcha.
kind of feel like it's going to be like FireWire. I mean, sure, you'll be able to use it on a PC, but how many people use FireWire on PC?
A lot of people, but yeah,
People who do video. That's it.
Yeah.
You're not going to use FireWire for anything but capturing a DV
or
camera
a hard drive,
Yeah,
which is
but-
really the only two things you use
But is
FireWire for, is capturing video off of a DV camera and a hard drive, right?
yeah, but
Because like nobody ever makes a FireWire USB drive or FireWire flash drives because FireWire's not on every computer out there.
yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, you have to admit, FireWire was a something that was developed or that was
It was
embraced by Apple, and
Yeah.
essentially that's the only reason that we have FireWire is because it was embraced by Apple. I mean, there was really, I mean,
They
you
just
could
took a hold
easily
of it first. Just
essentially, and then I mean, there wasn't. It's not. I mean, it's not readily available. I mean, you can do FireWire on a PC, but how many do that? I mean, unless. We're talking about 99 point. This is the same with bandwidth caps.
I know, but I'm just saying.
If it doesn't ship with a FireWire port,
you buy a motherboard right now, and more than likely it has FireWire on it.
As far as I know, FireWire is optional on PC.
Asus, I mean, motherboards typically have FireWire, but
Yeah.
I don't know, whatever. So
I want to spotlight this jet because it's a really cool new application, and I like in-house Google developed application because it kind of makes me feel like this is how Android should feel. This is how it should be. It sets a stage for how people should develop for Android. Now, we're huge Google Docs users. At any time, essentially, you see us doing a Tech Weekly or now a Fab Lab episode, we're using Google Docs. Carlos looking at our Google Docs. Jacob's on Google Docs. I mean, it's so
which
cool.
is still trying to reach Google. I don't know why, so I can't really do nothing to the doc. But yeah,
That's
I don't know.
weird.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, essentially, it's a cloud-based text editor kind of deal with a bunch of different features and allows you to essentially tons of users could look at it. And then the way that we do this is Google Docs can publish a document to the web to make everybody be able to do it. And once we do the show, that's all I do with the show notes now is I just publish them to what they have a feature. It just says publish to the web, and it goes straight to the web. Now, the new Google Docs, it's just called Docs if you install it on your Android device, and it's pretty cool. So you can look at the UI.
Yeah, and it's called Google Docs actually in the marketplace.
I know, but when you install it, it's just
I know. I'm
Docs.
just saying so
I
they
know.
can find it.
Yeah.
Because I just now downloaded it.
They have a widget that you can use. I'm not too big on widgets, so whatever. But I mean, check out this UI, Jeff. This really makes me happy when I look at this. I mean, this feels like what Android should be. I mean, you get some crappy Android applications because there's no, it's not like Apple. You don't have to develop to this standard and this standard, but it's still pretty cool looking. I mean, it works great. I've used it.
And it looks like it opens it up sort of like a Gmail looking thing. Like that's the same style like Gmail has.
Yeah, it's kind of like, now granted, I think they are still using like a browser kind of deal to actually view.
Yeah.
Well,
That's what a lot of those, the Google app, the Google Docs thing that someone else was messing with before. Yeah, that's the same thing. It's you edit a row at a time on Excel and stuff.
Yeah.
It's just another interface, I guess, into the actual
But
website.
I hate using, anytime I'm doing something, you may be different, but I hate going to websites that have to do things. I don't care if it's optimized for mobile. I want an app. I don't want a website. I don't want to have to go to docs.google.com every time I want to edit a document inside of a website. I mean, I don't want to do that
What's
inside.
Aardvark doing here?
You know, so
I'm not into web apps myself. I'd rather have something dedicated.
yeah. I mean, Steve Jobs, when the iPhone launched, said, "Oh, you're not going to need applications because everything, we're going to embrace HTML5 and we're going to have web apps for everything." We see how that worked out. I mean, sure, web apps are good and they can be made to essentially be almost like an application itself, but I mean, this just feels so much better than a web application.
Even though it is still a web page. The content is from a web page.
You got to realize but it's it's a whole different view and stuff. I mean, you don't like the document. If you watch a PowerPoint here, it's not the web page technically. It's running inside the application. Sure, they're accessing it through the web, but I mean,
yeah,
it's optimized for mobile. But whatever. I mean, it's a lot better. I like it better than the web app. Technically, I guess they're still using the web application in some way. But I read somewhere, actually I heard this on the Linux Action Show, that there's a way to take a picture of something and it does text it converts the text.
OCR.
Yeah, from the camera. I mean, that's awesome. I haven't actually figured out how to do that yet, but,
There's a couple OCR apps for Android.
But
I know they had like PDFs and stuff like that.
Yeah, but how cool is that you can do it directly? I mean, you can
cool.
take a picture of a paragraph and make it a Google Doc and not have to worry about anybody else's proprietary PDF or whatever. It just makes it straight into a Google Doc. I think that's pretty cool.
It's awesome.
Yep. I think a lot of people had been bargaining for one of these for a while. But yeah, it's pretty cool. Now, Jacob, let's just hit on this for a second. You've upgraded to CyanogenMod 7 for your HTC Evo 4G. How you liking it so far?
It's fine.
Yeah, it's gingerbread. It's pretty stable. I mean, I haven't really had any issues.
There's crap that I don't like about it that they need to fix, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like the camera application, but...
Well, there's stuff that will force close on you.
Yeah, but I think that's an issue more with developers not embracing 2.3 yet. I mean,
because it's not out yet for the Evo.
Yeah, I guess
they can't embrace it until it's released.
Yeah, but Facebook
they're making up their own crap as they go.
Facebook came with it. It used to force close every time, but now it doesn't because they came out with an upgrade that is 2.3.
But with any developer, open source developed thing, there's always going to be bugs. So
yeah,
you can't get the latest version without having a bug.
Right.
So
that's pretty cool. Carlo, thanks for joining us this week once again. You can follow Carlo on Twitter, twitter.com/Carlo Brown. Carlo frequents us in the chat room quite a bit, and you can always...
Gosh.
Oh my gosh, we're gone.
We have disappeared. Wait, we're back. Okay, just kidding.
Yeah, there's Carlo. I would encourage you guys to watch it on live.pbcasttv.com and come join us in the chat room, in our IRC chat room. Wild Ride. You have to register with Wild Ride if you want to do that, but it's great to have audience interaction like we do today. Thank you guys for being in the chat room. As always, you can follow Jacob on Twitter, twitter.com/freakinghuge, FreakingHuge. You can also check out his website, jacobroberts.me.
Yep.
And you can follow me on Twitter, twitter.com/thatnickjones, and check out my website, nickjones.me. One more thing, check out our new show, Fab Lab. We just did the first episode on Thursdays at 6 p.m. Central Time. I was going to say something
Standard
else.
time.
Well, it's not standard now. It's daylight time. It switches.
But it's
not
still CST.
No, it's CDT.
Whatever.
That's how people do it. You got to watch that because somebody might be showing up at CST, and that'll be an hour or something.
I don't know.
Anyway.
That's just time.
6 o'clock
6
at our time.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Done.
And you can also follow PBcast TV on Twitter, twitter.com/PBcastTV and PBcastTV.com. So, yeah.
Peace.
Until next time, guys, I'm Nick Jones.
Jacob Roberts.
Peace.
And he's Carlo Brown. So, see you guys later.
You guys do peace. Oh gosh.